Well, welcome. My name is August Brunsman, and I'm the Executive Director of the Secular Student Alliance. It's my pleasure to welcome you here this morning to Stanford to the sort of first ever West Coast Secular Student Alliance training session, or Leadership Summit, I think is what we're calling it. And we've been calling this first in some of our publications, but that's only because that actual first one we did went so poorly. There was actually a grand total of one student who stayed from the beginning to the end. There were a few others. Anyway, we won't belabor that anymore. We are delighted to have all of you here this morning. We are really happy with the number of people here. This is just designed to be a regional event. And for a regional event, we think this is a great turnout. And we've got a few more people who will be joining us literally this moment, but also later on throughout the day. So there are four kind of purposes that we have in mind for this weekend's event. Obviously, we want to educate you. We want to share knowledge with you about how to run your groups better and how to make them the talk of the campus and make them really influential. We also want to connect you, not just with each other, but also with all sorts of national organizations. We have Liz Cornwell here from the Richard Dawkins Foundation for Reason and Science. Austin Dacey will be here as connections to the Center for Inquiry, so does Roy, and there's lots of other organizations that you can connect with here. And then also we want to inspire you. We hope that along the way you will see some ideas and things that make you really want to go out and work harder to make your group really successful and to make naturalism an acceptable, legitimate worldview throughout society, which is kind of what we're all working for here. A couple other things. Really importantly, I want to be sure to thank AHA for hosting us here at campus. Joe Foley has been our liaison, and he has been absolutely fantastic in giving us everything we needed in order to make sure that we had this room and parking and all of the important stuff that comes along with running a conference. And then I also want to talk for a minute about the format that we're going to use for this conference. You'll notice in your schedule that there's about a half an hour allotted for each talk. And that includes, ideally, a 10-minute break. Sometimes we'll let you ask questions for 5 minutes in the first 10 minutes of that, or the first 5 minutes of the 10-minute break. But we really want to have the speakers kind of give you a broad overview in that first 20 minutes. The speakers will just let you know if they want to take questions during their presentation or not. But then, 5 minutes you'll have time to maybe ask some more questions if they're interested in letting you do that. But we think of conferences as a way to begin conversations, not finish them. So we've asked the speakers to, as much as they're able to do so, to stick around the conference and be around during all of those breaks. So if somebody says something in the morning and you don't happen to think of a question until the afternoon, oh well, they're still around and you can still go talk to them and learn about what they're doing and answer whatever important question that you had. So we tried this session, this sort of format session earlier at our last national conference, and it worked really, really well. And so we're excited to try it again. And it's looking like it's going to become a permanent feature of SSA events. I also really want to thank Lyz Liddell, who is our campus organizer and So I will point out that yes, in fact, many things have changed between when we had that first leadership summit on the West Coast with one student that stayed the whole way through to now that we have Liz. However, I'm willing to go ahead and assign causality here. I'm pretty sure that it is not just correlation. Liz has been an amazing force in organizing these events, and I could not be happier or prouder to have her as a colleague. And with that, I will turn it over to her for some housekeeping announcements.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm actually going to go micless. Can anybody not hear me? Awesome. Use my teacher voice here. So we do have a couple of housekeeping things to take care of. The first thing is, if anybody is staying in the hotel and got a slip under their door trying to check them out this morning, we have taken care of that. You will have a place to sleep tonight, so don't panic if you got a slip under your door. Everything should be under control. Second thing, if you had gotten a travel grant, if you had applied for a travel grant and got got an email from me saying that you got a travel grant. We have them here to pick up. You can see August, or you can see Dawn out in the hallway. You'll need a photo ID to pick up your travel grant, but we have those for you. So at some point during this weekend, make sure you pick that up, because we don't want you to go away without it. Can I have any members from AHA stand up for just a second? We have 2 right now. There will be more AHA people here throughout the day. These guys know this campus, so when you go to eat lunch, you might want to follow them. Let's see here. Next, we have a session later this afternoon called Peer Problem Solving. This is where we get together and you help. You get together with your peers and you help solve problems that people are having on campus. In order for this to work, you need to submit this form with your problem to me by lunch. Because after that, we can't help you. So if you have something that you've been running into on your campus, you've got all morning to think about it, just jot it down and make sure I get it by lunch. And then that will help us run this session this afternoon. If you don't give me any problems, I'll have to make some up. The next page after that in your conference booklet is actually the conference evaluation form, which we would love to have from you before you leave. If you're only here for today, you can give it to us after Austin Dacey's speech or before Austin Dacey's speech. If you're here the whole weekend, you can give it to us sometime tomorrow. Don Sutterfield is currently sitting at the registration table, but he's going to come here and stick his head in so you can make sure that he does match the picture. That's Don. Please give it to Don before you leave. Okay, on the front of your conference proceedings booklets, in the very left, at the very corner, there's a thing that says Hotel Sheraton Palo Alto Hospitality Room. If you don't have anything written there, please write 3087. That is our hospitality room. And after the Austin Dacey event tonight, we'll be there. There's soda and there's chips, and we've got some cupcakes from Darwin Day yesterday. You can come hang out and just have some laid-back relaxation time. Last but not least, I have a couple of changes to the schedule. We had one speaker who is from South Carolina, and he was snowed in. He wasn't able to get out here, so Todd Stiefel, one of our Sunday speakers, is actually going to be, we have Greg Langer, who will be standing in for him, so that will be a different person, same talk. And then last, this has actually been changed on your schedule, but I didn't make a big noise about it. We were originally going to have Debbie Goddard from the Center for Inquiry here. She's actually broken her leg, and so she's unable to fly right now. And so part one is that we have Roy, who will be giving a second talk in that time slot. But second, we will be getting a card for Debbie that will come in and start circulating around. If you wanted to say it and send her some best wishes, we'll be sending that to her when we get back to the office so that she can know that she was missed and that we love her very much. Last but not least, we have a couple of representatives from the Secular Student Alliance here. August is our executive director. I'm your campus organizer. We have 3 members of our board of directors here, Don out in the hallway, Joe Foley, who keeps getting called out and looking embarrassed about it, and then Matt LeClaire down on the end. So if you have any questions about the Secular Student Alliance, feel free to hunt any of us down and ask us your questions.